Hey guys, welcome to Movie Talk. Hope you guys are doing well. And this is another episode of Movie Talk with CinemaScenes. And my name is Dee. And now let's talk about some movies. Or actually, today we're gonna talk about TV shows. There's lots of episodes coming. Episodes of Movie Talk are coming your way. It's December is kind of cooking up all these great shows and movie premieres and everything that is coming our way. So today we are going to talk about The Witcher and The Witcher second season, to be more specific. So grab yourself a coffee, have a snack, or something to munch on, as I like to say, and let's dive into this world of TV shows and especially The Witcher on Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched The Witcher first season, or are you familiar with this story? There are books and then video games, and then the Netflix decided to make the show a few years back, and now it's a big hit, and I just love it. I really honestly loved it from the first season. The first season was 2 years ago, and the second season was premiere on December 17 this year. So the same day as Spider-Man: No Way Home. But of course, this is not a competition. This is just lots of pleasure for all of us who love these kind of movies and TV shows. So yeah, we managed to watch the Spider-Man. I did, and I will talk about that as well in one special episode about Spider-Man. And of course, this is going to be special episodes just about The Witcher second season. I'm not going to talk about other shows. There's going to be more episodes where I'm going to maybe combine few shows or few movies. But this is just about The Witcher because it's, again, one of my favorite shows, just like Wheel of Time. So even before the second season premiered on December 17th, Netflix announced they're going to renew the show for the third season. And now there's even rumors that I read today somewhere online that actually this show, the Witcher show, is planned out to be seasons all in total. So that's gonna be a lot of juicy Witcher action, magic, Netflix, extravaganza. I don't know even know how to say it. It's a wonderful show. I mentioned when I was talking in a few episodes back. I mentioned about the trailer when I was announcing what movies and TV shows we're gonna get in December. I mentioned that The Witcher is one of my most anticipated TV shows of the year, if not the most anticipated TV show of the year. And I mentioned that there was this last year because of pandemic. This season is late. It was supposed to be premiered last year, but they couldn't film because of the coronavirus and COVID. So they postponed filming, and then of course production was late. So they got it for Christmas time this year. In the meantime, last year they released The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf, which was an animated series, and they say this is a spin-off. It is called like a spin-off of the Witcher show from the first season. But as I mentioned in my previous movie talk, I don't consider that as a spin-off, more as a prequel, and this season of Witcher 2 confirmed that, because you have to, if you didn't watch The Witcher 2 season 2, you have to watch The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf animation series before you're gonna watch season 2, because it's many characters. I mean, you're not gonna you're not gonna be lost, if you don't watch this animation series that came in between. You're not gonna be lost. I mean, still gonna catch up what's going on and who's who in this season, but it's gonna be so much more excited if you know these characters that were in the Nightmare of the Wolf. There's going to be some spoilers. I have to warn you. Okay, so spoilers alert with this movie talk and The Witcher season 2. But I will try. I will just tell you where the story is going and maybe some things about the characters. But I will definitely not spoil the end or even close to the end, or maybe. And I will try not to spoil even the main event, what's connection between all the episodes, because some of the episodes it seems like they stand on on its own. And in the first season, there are many more episodes that stood on its own than this one, but still, there is one storyline, or there's one plot, one main plot that connects all the episodes in this second season. So let's start with the plot, with the main plot first, and where the story goes, and then I will talk about more each character, what were they in this season, and what did I like and what I didn't like, and so on and so on. So this season continues exactly where the last season, the season one, stopped. So if you didn't watch the first season, I highly recommend you to watch it. And it ends in a there's like again three main storylines about Siri, who is a princess, and a special princess who lost her kingdom to the invaders, and then Gerald, the Witcher, and the mage Yennefer, who is also was her story was told like a origin story in the season one. And in season one ends with this huge battle, and Gerald and Ciri are united in the last episode, and Yennefer like kind of destroyed the enemy's army, like the entire army, and so on. And this is where it ends. So this season continue exactly on that same battlefield where that battle took place. So we see Gerald and Ciri uh, coming to this battlefield, and they're looking for Yennefer, but she's nowhere to find. And people assume, and also Gerald assume, that she is gone, she's dead. She helped her side to win this battle, but unfortunately she passed away. Nobody knows where she is. And that's the beginning of the first episode, and that's how the story goes. So Gerald and Ciri are united, and then because he couldn't find Yennefer, he's heartbroken. He takes Ciri to the only safe place that he knows, that to protect her, because Gerald knows that he needs to protect her somehow, and he still doesn't know why she's in danger. He just assuming because she's a princess of this lost and heir to the throne of this lost empire, kingdom, whatever. It was the most powerful kingdom in this world, in this continent. But there's more to it, of course, as we as viewers know. But Gerald doesn't know. So he takes her to this witcher's castle, where brotherhood of witchers lives and train, and where they all became kind of. And this is why you need to watch Nightmare of the Wolf, the Witcher animated series, because that series, that animated series, is all about how witchers are made, and it's all about that castle and their leaders and what they doing and the magic and how they becoming a witchers from children and all these things. So this is why I recommend you to watch that animation series before you get into second season, because a lot of the second seasons is taking place at this witcher's castle with the brotherhood, and there's many witchers, which is so amazing. I was so happy to see so many witchers, and to see them fight. Not as much, there's not much fighting with all the witchers, but still they are there, and you can see the lifestyle they having, and what's going on and all these things. So then we again, the series goes back and forward between the characters, the three main characters. Except Geralt and Ciri are together most of the season. They're together, so kind of there's like two storylines, one with two of them, and then one with Yennefer. And then Yennefer, so let's just mention her briefly. At the beginning, no one can find her, as I said, and they assume, both mages and her friends and everybody assumed she died in the battlefield. She kind of burned. She used the fire magic, which is no mage supposed to do, and they assume that she died from it. But we find out in very quickly in the first episode that she is alive, and then but she lost her power. She had no connection to this magical world where they pull. from which they pull their magic. So she's just running around the forest, and then she's desperate because she's so dependable and she loves the magic. Uh, and then she's caught by the Nilfgaardians, which is this enemy of all the other kingdoms, this big empire that tries to conquer the continent. So she is trapped by them. But then this little group with her other friend, another mage, got trapped by the elves. And the elves are kind of species in this world that are killed and prosecuted and kind of and almost extinct. They brought to edge of extinction. So they were caught by this one very, again, powerful female elf who leads this group of elves in the forest. And that's where the main plot kind of with the three female mages, one elves and Yennefer and the other one, they get involved in some sort of magic that they shouldn't. And this is where all becomes interesting. On the other side, Ciri is trying to fit in the Witcher's brotherhood, or this convent of theirs that they have in the castle. She's so fascinated by the way of life and by Gerald. She look at him as a father figure and her protector, and she wants to become the Witcher, the female Witcher. So she kind of talks them into training her and show her the sword fight and some and trainings and where the witchers are being trained. She goes through that and so on and so on. So this is kind of her story between in the first few episodes. Where she is safe in the castle, but we still keep finding out some things about her. And there's another mage shows up in the castle to help Ciri because they know that she possessed this strange kind of magic, but nobody knows what is it about. And this show, it really is more focused on Ciri than the first season, and we kind of see where she's coming from. What is this big secret that she's possessed, and why she being hunted by Nilfgaardians. So I'm not going to tell you what is it or how they find out. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. But again, that's her story, and she's kind of contained. They go out a little bit outside of this castle, and they do some tasks. Of course, they fight monsters, but still, she's her story is kind of contained in the Witcher's castle. But it's very interesting. Gerald, on the other hand, is determined to protect her, and she is very persistent to find out why is she so special. Because some strange things are happening, some strange monsters are appearing in this world on the continent that they never saw before, and so he tried to make a connection between Siri and these monsters and why is this happening and what's going on. So there's a lot of adventure and battles between monsters and Gerald, and then Siri is involved, and it's very very interesting. I'm telling you guys, it's very interesting story. So out of these three stories that we are following as viewers, Yennefer, Gerald, and Siri, I remember in the first season, Siri, as like a young child, lost princess, all blonde. She had like a few moments of her magic destruction or something, but most of the time she just kind of like a princess who needs a rescue. She's just helpless, and nobody knows what's going on, and she's just like running around like crazy. Like running from everybody. Everybody's chasing her, and we're kind of having a over our eyes because we don't we, as the audience, we still don't know what's going on there, what's going on with Siri. So her storyline wasn't very interesting. It was the least interesting story in the first season, and Yennefer had the most interesting story in the first season out of three, all three of them. Gerald is kind of in the middle. He's like constantly interesting, as I like to say. I mean, it's fun to look at him and listen to him and watch him fight, and just the costume and everything about him just interesting. But he's constant in both season one and season two. You get what you expect, well, most of the time. But Yennefer was so powerful, and her story was so interesting in the first season. But now in the second season, kind of roles, so they switch the roles. So Siri, this time Siri is the one who has this very elaborate story and interesting interactions with other characters and exploration of her powers. Like she is becoming something. Like in the first season, Yennefer was becoming. It was her origin story, like how she became what she is, the mage, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful mage in that world. And now she lost her power, and now she's running around like a crazy person, trying to hide and find the way to get her power back. So she's kind of in the Siri role, and Siri is now having this origin story where she's first of all, you guys, she's all grown up. I mean, these year and a half or 2 years between these two shoots, season one and season two, the actress is really kind of, you can see how developed and how mature, more mature she is. She was like a little girl in the first season. Now she's almost adult in this, and I love it. I love it because I'm not big fan of, like, like children in running around in this fantasy series, especially where there's lots of fighting and blood and violence. So it's much more interesting. She takes over. She's confident. She knows what she wants. She's ballsy. She's cocky. She wants to fight. She wants to defend herself. She wants to fight monsters, and it's so. I love Siri. In this season, I love Siri. Yennefer, I mean, I love her, and I will always love her. But she doesn't do much this in this season. Like really, she doesn't. Again, same like Siri in the first one. She's just running around, and there is role there are some very interesting things happening around her in her storyline. There are some things that are very interesting that are going on, so the show, it doesn't get boring at all. But again, I miss that powerful mage, like how she what the things she was doing in the first season. She doesn't get to do these things in this one. She's weak, and and unprotected. And now she's the one who needs protection. So yeah, so that's the gist of what's going on with our characters in this season. So let's get back to Gerald. So everybody started watching this show not because they knew what's going on, but because Henry Cavill was attached to this show. He was this Witcher. Now I knew, and I would watch the show whoever they cast in this role, because I read the books and I love the books and I love this world, so I would watch. But Henry Cavill was the name that draw people to this show. And just so you know, they Netflix are is not sparing any money on this show. The first season, 8 episodes. The second season, also 8 episodes, hour-long episodes, and each of them cost like $10 million to make. Each episode cost $10 million. First season, same as the second season. I heard that they maybe uh, raised the budget for the second season, but you cannot tell. If honestly, if I have to guess, I would assume that they spend more money on the first season, because there's more magic and monsters and other things in the first. Uh, this one is more talking parts. There's a lot of talking. Let me just put it like that. But still, there's fights and then monsters, incredible monsters, and fighting, and it's one of the bigger cast, more characters, and it is good. But Gerald is, except that I noticed he changed his costume, Witcher costume, which again I prefer the one from the first season. It was more witchery. It was more unique. This one looks to me more as a superhero costume uh, that he wears in the second season. It has all this, uh, build in these abs and chest muscles and everything, which wasn't the case in the first season. He looked more like a knight, as he's supposed to in the first season than in the second. I mentioned in my movie talk when I talk about the trailer and what's coming up. When I was talking about The Witcher, that I read somewhere that Henry Cavill was insisting on having more dialogue, more lines in the second season, and he does. Let me tell you, he does get more lines, and he talks more, and he has more dialogues and philosophy and whatever. But what you don't get is shirt off Henry Cavill. If you here for this, and this was the main meme, him in the bathtub from the first season with his bare chest. So if you in this season for that, you will not be happy because he doesn't take his shirt off at all. Spoiler alert, maybe this is too late, but still. So if you waiting to see Henry Cavill shirtless, you will not you will not be satisfied with this. And one more thing that I noticed, there's no nudity on this season. The first season was so much more like Game of Thrones type. There was a lot of nude and naked, especially girls, like fully naked, walking around, and there's just some sex scenes and all these things that was in one, and it was giving the tone like it's gonna be a Game of Thrones type of a show, with bloody killings and intrigues and plots and royalty, conspiracy, and of course lots and lots of nudity and sex. But I believe Netflix, or I don't know who it was that changed the tune. This looks more a little bit prude. Let me use this word, comparing to the first season, right? Because no, there's not. There are some kind of like prostitutes with the in the Witcher castle. They come, but you don't see anything. So again, if you're here for this, for nudity and sex scenes and all that fun, is that all fun for you? And then Henry Cavill shirtless, that's not going to happen in second season. So the show took completely different turn, and they go different way. They focused on the story and the characters and development and the monsters. Although I do think some monsters are more interesting in the first season than in this one. But these monsters in second season are very special, and I'm not going to tell you why because it's going to be spoiler. But there's some very special monsters in this second season. I'm sorry. So you will have to get satisfied with Gerald, or aka Henry Cavill's intellect and verbal abilities more than his muscle abilities and his workout abilities and physical. Maybe Cavill asked for that. I'm not sure, but he had more nude scenes or shirtless scenes as a Superman than as a Witcher in this Game of Thrones type of a show. Um, I don't know. Maybe he was making requests that he doesn't have to take his shirt off, that there's no more sex scenes and so on. But yeah, this is kind of where we are now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I have to be honest and tell you that the show was so interesting and the story that I didn't even notice that. Just afterthought, when I was thinking what to say about the show, I was thinking, oh my God, there was no nudity. How odd. There was no nudity in this show. And then I was start comparing and recalling all these things from the first season. I'm like, wow, this is really different. But the show, why I'm saying this, because the show is so interesting. The second season is interesting and excellently, done and written and fast paced, that you don't even while you're watching, it doesn't bother me. It didn't bother me, at least. I don't know if it's gonna bother you, but it didn't bother me, and I didn't even notice that there is no nudity in this show. in the second season. Although, you know who is the only one who take his shirt off this time in this season? The only one? Yaskier. The freaking bard is the only person that actually takes his shirt off in one point at one point in one scene. So you get to see Bard's muscles, and I don't remember that we saw him shirtless in the first season. We just assumed he's this like nerdy type, but let me tell you, he's really like developed some muscles. But like really, I was surprised, and I think that's the only like half nude scene in this entire season. Or please feel free in the comments to, because I didn't have time to watch. There's so much content online and in the theaters that I didn't have time to rewatch the. I will rewatch the second season again eventually, but as far as I recall, this is the only picture that comes to my mind is Jaskier, who is shirtless in this season, and no one else. And while we at him, let's talk about him a little bit, and because he was so funny and he was one of my favorite characters in the first season, and many people loved him in the first. He was the one, toss a coin to the Witcher. That's the song that was stick in our minds for months and months, and he was like a funny comic relief in the season and of the first season, and it was very 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 cleverly done to involve his character with everybody else. But in this season, his character feels very much forced in. I feel like writers and then I don't know producers, executives, they knew how popular he is and his songs, and he still have one song in this season that should be like a signature song, like "Toss a Coin to the Witcher" was for the first season. But this song is so oh my god, it's so funny. It's a tragic love song about Gerald, how Gerald left him. It's like called Burn or Burn, and I'm burning and you should burn or something like that. I mean, you will notice. And it's so homoerotic song that I think even Jennifer like addressed this in one scene when they met. It's so funny, but I don't know why they try to tease this kind of relationship between Jaskier and Gerald, but it's funny and I love that. But besides that, Jaskier, you can feel that everywhere he was in this season, it was forced. He didn't belong there, and he was just there because he did such a great job in the first season that they just put him. Okay, let's just give him any lines, funny lines, and put him there. The audience will like it. And to be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't find him funny. He was on the way of the other characters all the time. He didn't do much. I mean, he really when I'm thinking like they kind of forced some parts of the story that like he's important, but he wasn't that important, and he wasn't funny. He was trying to have these jokes. They were trying to implement these jokes that he said, but he would always say these jokes at the wrong time, and it didn't land well, and it wasn't funny, and it was like very childish and very primitive types of jokes, and he was very annoying to me. The only annoying part of this season was Jaskier, was the bard, was his role and his dialogues and his jokes. That really, it was cringy. It was really really cringy. So many times when he said something funny, it was cringy, very very much. Overall, it was a very interesting season, definitely worth watching, and I'm very excited to have this show and to know that this show will continue with third and God hope full seventh season as the rumor says. And I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much. I have to say the first season was a little bit better for me. If I have to rate, I would say first season 5 stars and the second season 4 stars. But still, 4 stars is great, and you shouldn't miss, and you should watch. I mean, it's a fantasy show that was done in with a big budget. I mean, 10 millions an episode, and there's a lot of work is invested in this show, and it's a good story. It's a great characters. Again, I highly recommend to watch that animation spin-off, or as I like to say, prequel, before you watch the second season, because it's going to make second season so much more fun. And But if you, even if you don't, please go ahead and watch Witcher season 2. It's amazing. It's one of the best shows that we have, and it's no wonder they extended this for 7 seasons. The ending of this season gives an excellent cliffhanger. So you did not expect that. And But we also get a satisfying ending, as expected, because you have to have this closure of some sort, to enjoy the season. I mean, nobody wants just a cliffhanger and that's it, because at least I don't, because I'm going to be pissed, because next season maybe is going to take a year to get. So I need some sort of satisfying ending, and we get that, and it was very nice, very emotional, very nice ending. You guys gonna love it. And the cliffhanger is also so mysterious that I'm like, oh my god, what? How is this possible? What's going on? What's I need to find out more. What's going on? So yeah, that's how this show ends, and I'm very looking forward to season three. I still don't know the date when it's gonna come out, but I whenever it is, I'm gonna be waiting. So, guys, this is my review of The Witcher season two. Please feel free to share. What did you see it? Did you see the first season, second season? Did you see the animated series? What did you think in comparison about this season? Or if not, if this is the only season you've seen, so please share. What were your favorite characters, your storylines? Did you like Geralt's story, Ciri? What do you think about Ciri, Yennefer? Were you annoyed that she didn't have any powers this season? And whatever you guys feel, whatever you guys think, please feel free to share in the comments. If you like movie talk, if you enjoy me talking about these TV shows and these movies, please like my episodes, subscribe to my channel, because there's many more episodes coming. There are more episodes there that are already on my channel, and we're going to continue this movie talk very soon in the very next episode of movie talk. All right, take care guys, and talk to you later. Bye.